Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's Josiah here, and I want to talk to you about a topic that a lot of people have very different opinions on, and that is, how do you know when to upgrade your gear? So here's the situation. You've got some gear that's either really old, or it's starting to break down, or maybe you bought a really cheap version of a product, and you want to know when to upgrade. I've got a few thoughts on that, and obviously, before I get started, everyone is going to have a different opinion on this. So if you ask around, you might get some different answers from different people, but these are just my thoughts on the topic of when to upgrade your gear. So firstly, I'm going to start and I'm going to talk to all you people who are newer to backpacking. Buy something cheaper first. Don't get into backpacking right away and go to REI and drop $300 on a backpack and $400 on a tent and $200 on a sleeping pad and $300 on a sleeping bag. Buy stuff that's affordable first, use it for a few trips, and make sure that backpacking is something that you're going to want to stick to long term. I see way too many people making the mistake of going and dropping $1,000 or more at REI, and then they go backpacking once, realize they don't like it, and they just have all this stuff sitting in their garage. Don't be that person. Buy something cheap first, make sure that you want to get into the sport of backpacking, and then upgrade as you go. And this is for all of you people who have been backpacking for a little while. Don't succumb to gear envy. I've fallen for this a few times and I've had to catch myself. When you hike with a group of people, or when you like to watch YouTube videos of people testing out the latest and greatest equipment, it's really easy to look at the stuff that you have right now and compare it to the latest and greatest and get envious and want to upgrade just because something else is newer. You know, it's kind of like the shiny effect. Like, you want something that's new and shiny, but even though what you have is perfectly fine for you right now. So don't succumb to gear envy. If you've got something that you like, stick with it. You don't need to upgrade it yet. I do this a lot in our group here at From the Dust Outdoors. I am probably the biggest evangelist for keeping your equipment as long as possible, because I have used stuff for way too long. The backpack that I currently use, it's a High Sierra Summit 45. I bought that thing 12 years ago and I'm still using it. So if something's working for you, don't get envious of other people's equipment. So what if your gear breaks down? Maybe you have a strap that's starting to fray on your backpack, or you have a hole in your air mattress. What do you do then? Does that mean that it's time to upgrade? Maybe not. If you can repair a piece of equipment, try and repair it first before trying to replace it. You know, I have quite a bit of gear that I have repaired instead of replacing, and it's worked perfectly fine for me. I talked about my High Sierra backpack a little bit ago, and that backpack was the victim of a dog attack. One of my old roommates had a dog, and when it was a puppy, it just loved to chew on things, and so it broke off the hip belt buckle and a couple of the compression straps, the buckles for those. And I just went to a fabric store and replaced the buckles, and then I was good to go. I can still use this thing. From the looks of it, after the dog got to it, I didn't know if I was going to be able to salvage it, but I was able to go and measure the straps, get a buckle that size from, I think it was Joann Fabrics, and instead of sewing the straps again, because I don't have a sewing machine that can get through webbing that's that thick, I use safety pins to hold it together. And it might look a little weird, but I've taken it on, I believe, 8 trips now with safety pins, the same safety pins, and it's been flawless. It's been great. So if you can repair a piece of equipment, repair it first. You know, the same thing happened with my sleeping pad. When I bought it, it had holes in it. I got it for a really good price, but it had some holes in it, and so I patched it up and it was good to go. And that actually leads me on to my next point. Be on the lookout for gear that you want to upgrade to. I have a running list of items that they're like my dream items, basically. Backpacks that I would love to get, sleeping pads that I would love to get, sleeping bags that I would love to get. And I keep this list on my phone so that every time I go to a sale, like a reigarage.com or an REI garage sale in a store, or if I'm looking at a flea market or Craigslist, I can refer to this list and see if any of the items that I want can be found used or cheap. And I have saved so much money this way. The sleeping pad that I bought with holes in it, it's an $80 sleeping pad. It's a Climate Static V insulated. I got that thing for $18. Less than a fourth of the price just because it had a hole in it, but it had a patch kit. So I repaired it as soon as I got home, and it's been as good as new since I got it. So be on the lookout for stuff that you want to get and try and get it cheaper. I know Facebook groups have been really good for Chris here on the From the Dust Outdoors channel. And I've had good luck at REI garage sales. So you can check those two out. Those are probably my two top recommended areas to find good quality used gear on the cheap. And then one last thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about upgrading your gear is to have your priorities straight. What item is going to have the most impact when you're out on the trail? If there's something that you need to save up for, or if there are multiple items that you need to save up for, prioritize them. For me, a good night's sleep is above everything else out on the trail. So I will upgrade my sleep system before I upgrade anything else. For some people, hiking might be their top priority. So they'll upgrade their shoes or their trekking poles or their backpack before they upgrade anything else, because if they're happy on the trail, they're going to be happy for the whole trip. So get your priorities straight. Know what you want and what you want to prioritize when you're upgrading gear. So those are just a few thoughts that I have on when to upgrade your gear and equipment. If you have some thoughts on this subject, let me know down in the comments section, because like I said, everyone has different thoughts on this. And I'd love it if we can share our different thoughts, so maybe someone who's like-minded will read your comment and it'll sink in for them, and that's how they'll upgrade their gear. As always, leave us a like if you like the video, and subscribe if you want to get more content from us. I'm Josiah with From the Dust Outdoors, and I'll see you out there on the trail. Joy.